What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to Maps Exposed. This is the series where I cover all of the lines of sight, as well as any other non-obvious sort of spots on every map in Black Ops 4 multiplayer. In today's episode, we're going to be covering the newest set of maps, Schatten, Remnant, as well as Havana. So let's hop right into it and start it off with Schatten. With this one, it is a very large map, but let's just start off in this area right here. If you want to get to that window, of course, you could go the long way around and take the stairs and all that kind of stuff. But if you wanted to, you could also just jump up on this, I think it's a finger of the giant robot or a leg, I don't even know. And from here, you can make that jump into the window right there. Relatively situational, just wanted to point that one out. On a similar note, across the street over here, what you can do is you can jump up on this truck and then from there jump into the balcony. That one's a little bit more obvious, but just wanted to point that out just in case you didn't realize you could do that. Also from this truck, if you are challenging people that are going to be up in that area right there, you can just jump up here and this gives you a little bit of a better piece of cover and they don't normally expect this from you. Next, if you're in this middle map area and you're trying to approach people that are coming from that direction there, instead of peeking them around this cover, which is exactly where they expect you to be, a nice little alternative is to hop up on the hood of this truck right here, and look at that. You get a nice little line of sight through there. If you want to see a bit more, you can jump up onto this area right here. Anybody that's hiding behind that finger or whatever that is, like I said earlier, you can shoot them through this area right here, and they generally won't expect that, and it's just a great alternative to challenge those people. Next, I want to show you just a few different alternatives to challenge people that are up in that balcony there. Sometimes you get an LMG camper or a sniper or something up there, and if they're a really good player, they can sometimes pin down this entire middle map area. So just a few alternatives. First one is you can jump up onto this box right here. Apparently, I'm making it look more difficult than it is, but there you go. From there, you can kind of head glitch over top of the truck and pick them off from there. Another thing you can do, I like this one probably the best, is jump up on these crates right here. If you're crouched, you're completely hidden, stand up. There you go. Nice head glitch and line of sight towards them there. They probably won't see you here. And finally, you can shoot through the glass right here. I already broke the glass, but normally there's glass in the truck, and you can use this for cover, which is also excellent. Now, one last spot that I have for you guys on this map is to challenge the people that are right behind that piece of cover there, those crates that are next to the truck. Instead of strafing out like this, where you're exposing basically your whole body, or like trying to jump up and use the truck for cover, which doesn't really work too effectively on this truck. All you have to do is go prone right here, and look at that. Perfect line of sight on those people. You can shoot through there, no problem, and pick them off, and it's a really nice line of sight. But with that, that pretty much covers it for Schatten. I looked all over this really big, massive map. It is a giant maze. I really don't like this map so far. It's just too many different lanes that are split up way too much, and therefore it's like there's 3 different maps being played at the same time, which just doesn't work for 5v5. If it was like 10v10 or 12v12, I think this map would be awesome, but with 5v5, it's just too big with too many different lanes. So now it's time to move on to Remnant, which is a giant zombies museum, and with this one, I'll be honest, I have very few things to show you. It's a very simple and basic maps that doesn't leave much to the imagination. But first off, at the C domination flag, if you are playing domination, just want to point out you can capture from here, which is great for taking people off guard if they know that C is being captured, for instance. Normally they're looking here, not up there, so you can get that extra little bit of a jump on them. Plus, if they're throwing nades and stuff towards that C flag, you'll be pretty much safe from them up in that area there. After that, we have the transit bus right here. Just a few things I wanted to point out. Not only do you have the windows right here, you can also go prone and shoot people through here, which they don't normally expect. And another thing is you can actually jump up on top of the roof of it, which isn't the most practical thing out there, but just wanted to point out you could do that. A lot of people won't be expecting that, so you can take them off guard in that way. You can jump up there from that spot that I just showed you, or from the front, you can jump up like this, and there you go. That'll get you on top of the transit bus. Now, one line of sight over towards this side of the map where the front entrance, I believe that's the front entrance of the museum is. If you hop up like this right here, you do get a bit of a line of sight towards the A flag and a little bit over into that area there. Not the most practical spot, but I just wanted to point that out since there's not too many other things to point out. And this just brings us over to the teleporter. So there's 2 of these teleporters. There's one in this room right here, and then one in the opposite room over there. This is quite a symmetrical map. And the way it works is you simply run in there as long as the lightning is flashing. And when you do it, there is a cooldown. So I've just teleported to the other side of the map now. So I'm over in this area, and that's where I teleported from. Then it has about a 7.5 second cooldown before you can use it again. So you can do this quite often in a match, but you can't directly follow somebody in. If there's no lightning, you can't teleport. But like I said, it's just 7.5 seconds before it'll be ready to go. So any second now, we should get some lightning, and there we go. We can teleport back. And that's all I have for you guys on this map. Like I said, doesn't leave much to the imagination. It's a fairly wide open sort of a map and really basic sort of lanes. Once again, a very, very large map that I personally don't think plays well at all for 5v5. I think this would be a much better 10v10 or 12v12 sort of map, but that's just my opinion on it. And with this, that finally brings us into Havana, which of course is a remake from Black Ops 1, and we're back to seeing a lot of spots here because it appears we're going back in time to when they really cared a lot more about map design and layouts and offering a lot of unique things. As you can see there, you have one option there to jump from the bus up to the railing right there. Also, from down here, I just wanted to point out a great way to challenge the people that are in the windows across there is actually from these stairs right here. You can kind of head glitch over those hedges and pick them off through there. That's a lot less expected than standing up in this area right here. That's exactly where they're going to be looking, so it's much better, in my opinion, to use these stairs right here. You can also use them to cover a bunch of the middle street area like that. Now, getting over to this area right here, if you're going to be challenging people that are in this little alleyway right here or whatever, this little entrance area, and they're coming through there, you don't really have the greatest cover to challenge them. There's nothing to cover your legs at all. However, if you jump up like this, there you go. Look at that. You can kind of head glitch over top of this. They will be seeing like your elbows and little bits of your body, but it's just far superior compared to just standing out here in the open showing your whole body off. Also from here, I wanted to point out, if you wanted to get up on this balcony really easily, jump up on the barrels, and there you go. Really easy mantle up into the window. I don't believe you could do that in the original Havana, but you can do it in this one, that's for sure. And we see a bit of a similar story on this balcony, although it's a little more complicated than that. With this one, you have to jump up on this concrete barrier first. Then from here, you jump up to this area like that. And then from here, you can jump across to the balcony, and there you go. Like I said, a little bit more complex, and you often won't have too much time to do that because you are very exposed out on the street. But in some situations, you may want to try something like this. Now, if you find yourself in behind this wall here and you know enemies are up on that balcony or in those windows, you don't really have the greatest options to challenge them, and you can kind of get trapped back here. But one thing you can do is just back yourself up to these trash cans and then just jump on top of them, and there you go. Great line of sight to those windows as well as the balcony. If you need to, you can crouch and take complete cover from them, stand up, and a nice clean line of sight again. Also over in this area, if you want to get a line of sight over towards the B flag or just anywhere in the middle of the map, instead of just crouching behind this, which is where they'll mainly be looking, you can actually go prone and just shoot from underneath the bus. Now, it's not like you're going to be completely invisible to them there. It is a fairly big hole that they can see. They're just less likely to see you through that area there compared to if you're just crouched right there. Next up, I have another really situation-dependent spot. There is a very common fountain that people will sit behind right there because they can really easily just spawn trap you and lock you in that room because as you come around that corner, you have no cover and they have perfect cover with this fountain. A nice way to challenge them, if the situation permits it, is to jump up onto this wall right here. Now, like I said, if the situation permits it, you are extremely exposed. This is more so for like a 1v1 situation in Search and Destroy. But from this wall right here, you can actually see that fountain right there, and you can pick them off through there like it's nothing. Your bullets don't even hit this railing at all. It just goes straight through as if they don't exist, and they won't see this one coming. It's a nice way to get a really easy kill on a camper. Alternatively, if you are coming from this direction, you can hop up on this trash can, which you can use right there, or from there, you can jump up onto the wall, and then you can have that peek over towards the fountain. Another thing you can do, if you happen to have a class with FMJ on it, especially if you have like a Titan with FMJ2 class, this is actually pretty ridiculous to challenge those people in that fountain. If you spawn back here and you're trying to break out of this spawn, but they're spawn trapping you from the fountain, all you have to do is come up to this area right here and shoot the wall right around that area. If you get a hit marker, keep spraying, and you just might get yourself a kill because that will actually spray right through to where the person is on the fountain. Also in this little corner here, I just wanted to point out, if you put your back up against this wall, like if you back all the way up here, you actually get a really nice little head glitch into the balcony across there, so you can pick those campers off, and this isn't normally where they're looking for people, and if they ever do get shots on you, all you have to do is crouch or just move forward, and you're completely out of their line of sight. Next up, over in this building here, if you have people that are up in that building and maybe they've got mesh mines or something set up right there, nice little alternative to get to them is to simply jump up like that. Next up, if you find yourself over in this corner right here and somebody's coming through that area right there, you can't really challenge them without exposing your whole body unless you just jump up on this wall, and there you go. They don't normally expect that. Again, just like a lot of the spots on this map, you are quite exposed by doing this, so it is very situation dependent, and you really do have to be selective about when you use these spots. But when that situation arises, it's always nice to know that you have that in your pocket. And with that, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Maps Exposed on the newest DLC maps. As for my thoughts on Havana, since I shared my thoughts on the other ones, which I'm not too fond of, I really like Havana, and I think it plays quite well in Black Ops 4. I love the fact that there's so much detail within a relatively small map, although I'd consider this to be more of a medium-sized map. I think it plays quite well. There's a lot of really interesting spots that you can use, and map knowledge really does come into play on this, unlike with the other maps where they just feel like they're way, way, way too big, and also they seem to lack any sort of logical flow, because people just tend to spread out all over the place. But of course, that's just my opinion. I'd like to know in the comment section below, what do you guys think about these new maps? And are there any other spots that you know of on these maps that I missed? Just let me know those thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.
Yeah.